Hi, I'm Mark Donovan from HomeEditionPlus.com, and today I'm going to show you how to replace a toilet fill valve. So the first thing we want to do is turn water off to the toilet. Now we want to flush the toilet till we drain all the water out of the tank. Once we've removed as much water that will come out of the tank on its own, we're going to use a sponge to suck up any of the remaining water that's in the tank itself. Now to remove any residual water in the tank, I'm removing the float ball so that I can get access to the tank easier. And I'm going to use a sponge to suck up the residual water in the tank. Using a small bucket to squeeze the water off into. Now that I removed all of the remaining water from the tank itself, I can remove the old fill valve. Now I've placed a bucket underneath the supply line and I'm removing the old coupling nut. And we're going to let any residual water drain out of the hose or the bottom of the tank. Using a pair of adjustable pliers to remove the lock nut that's holding the old fill valve to the base of the tank. Once we have it slightly unloosened, we can just use our fingers to unthread the lock nut and remove the old fill valve. I'm also going to remove the refill tube from the overflow tube. So now that I removed the lock nut from the base of the toilet, I can now remove the old fill valve assembly. And that's it. With the old fill valve out, I'm just taking a sponge to clean the inside of the toilet, particularly around the base. We're going to install the new fill valve. This will prevent any type of leak to occur with the new fill valve assembly. So the first step in attaching the new fill valve is to attach the float assembly to the rod. I'm going to just screw it in a few turns, and then we'll attach the whole rod float assembly to the new fill valve itself. So now I'm attaching the float rod assembly to the new fill valve. I'm just going to thread it in so it comes up snug. We'll do some final adjustment once it's in the tank. Now I'm attaching the flange washer flat side up to the base of the fill valve. Now we're ready to install the fill valve into the toilet. So we're now holding the fill valve assembly in the toilet tank such that the float does not come in contact with any of the side walls or other apparatus within inside the toilet tank. I'm now tightening up the lock nut at the base of the unit. Want it nice and snug, but you don't want to over tighten it because you don't want to crack the bowl or the tank assembly itself. So now I'm just attaching the supply line coupling nut to the base of the fill valve assembly. You want to just make this finger tight. You don't want to use a pair of pliers to over tighten it. Now I'm going to replace the old refill tube altogether. Just simply pull it out of the overflow tube assembly, push the new tube down, and then connect it to the fitting on the end of the new fill valve assembly. Now before I turn the water back on to the toilet, I want to make sure that the assembly, when it goes up, again doesn't hit any side walls or the drain tube assembly in the tank. Otherwise it won't shut off properly. As you can see here, we've got free movement. If we needed to, we could adjust the ball, or if we need to, we could go back and readjust the angle of the fill valve. So with everything looking in good working order, we're ready to turn the water back on to the toilet. So the toilet tank is now filled up, the arm has come up, the float arm has come up, and it has basically shut off the fill valve assembly such that it's about an inch shy of the overflow tube. And that's exactly what we want. So that's all there is to it to replacing a toilet fill valve. If you have other home improvement questions, visit us at HomeEditionPlus.com today.